The first hours. You're sorting mail at the kitchen table. Coffee going cold on your left. TV on mute. News ticker crawling. Something about Norway. Something about a facility. You don't look up. The bill from the electric company. A coupon packet. A birthday card from your aunt. You stack them in order of how little you care. Then your phone lights up at 9:14. Not a text, not an email. The full-screen government alert, red banner, black capitals, the kind that bypasses silent mode and cuts through everything. You've only ever seen those for tornadoes. You pick it up. Urgent recall, all fresh produce, do not consume. Contact local health authority. You read it twice. You set the phone down. You pick it up again. The TV is still muted. But on screen now, a reporter stands in front of a grocery store with yellow tape across the entrance. Behind her, a worker in a white hazmat suit rolls a flatbed cart of bagged lettuce towards a white van. You can see his breath in the cold Norwegian air, even through the camera. You look at your refrigerator. The door is open. You left it open 2 minutes ago when you grabbed the creamer. Inside, on the second shelf, 3 cucumbers in plastic wrap sit next to a head of lettuce. The sticker on the cucumber reads NOR-SVB-7. You can see it from where you sit. You didn't need to walk over. You already know. You walk over anyway. The sticker is 3 centimeters wide. The print is small. The lot code is right there. NOR-SVB-7. Same 3 cucumbers you bought on Sunday for $2.49 at the Kroger on Millbrook Avenue. They look fine. They look like every cucumber you've ever bought. Firm, cold, a little condensation on the wrap. You close the refrigerator door. Outside the window, a mail truck idles at the curb. 2 pigeons sit on the phone wire above it. A woman in a yellow coat walks her dog past the stop sign. Everything looks exactly right. Everything looks like a Tuesday. Your phone buzzes again. A second alert. Then a third. Then your neighbor starts honking in her driveway for no reason you can see. The news sticker is moving too fast to read now. You stand in your kitchen in your socks. The cucumbers are behind you. The coffee is cold. The birthday card from your aunt is still in your hand, and you realize you're gripping it hard enough to crease it. You don't know what SVB stands for. You're about to find out. Day 1. The radio tells you first, not the TV. The TV lost its feed at 10:47, mid-sentence, anchor mouth still open. The radio, a black Sengean you keep on the counter for power outages, picks up the emergency broadcast at 11:02. You stand at the counter and you listen. A fungal pathogen, prion adjacent, released from the Svalbard Global Seed Vault by the explosion. Spore dispersal radius estimated at 800 kilometers from Longyearbyen. The announcer's voice is flat and careful, the way a voice gets when the person behind it is holding something back. The pathogen rewrites plant cellular reproduction. The announcer says rewrite, not damage, not kill. Rewrite. You hear that word and something in your chest goes very still. You learn what SVB stands for. Svalbard. You learn the vault holds 1.3 million seed varieties. You learn the explosion wasn't small. You learn the government statement from 9 o'clock directly contradicts the government statement from 10:30. Not updates it, contradicts it. You grab your keys. The Kroger on Millbrook Avenue is 1.4 kilometers from your door. You make it in 4 minutes. You shouldn't have bothered. Through the glass front doors, the shelves are bare metal. Every one of them. Fluorescent lights stuttering overhead. A single overturned cart sitting alone in the center aisle like something left at a crime scene. The produce section is a torn field of plastic bags and brown lettuce on the floor, trampled flat. A handwritten cardboard sign reads "Closed," taped crookedly at eye level. Outside, A crowd of maybe 40 people presses against the glass, coats pulled tight, breath fogging. Someone holds a sign you can't read. Someone else is crying without making any sound you can hear through the door. 6 hours. That's all it took. 12 major cities, same story. You drive home. You pass an abandoned Civic with the driver's door open, engine still running, sitting diagonally across the bike lane. Nobody in it. You pass it without stopping. At home, you open every cabinet. You count what you have. Dry pasta, 600 grams. A can of black beans. Oats, half a bag. Peanut butter, 1 jar, mostly full. You don't count the produce. The produce is already in a plastic garbage bag on your porch. You carried it out with your hands inside 2 Ziploc bags, makeshift gloves, which you know is probably not enough. Probably. The radio contradicts itself again at 12:15. The safe zone is now 400 kilometers. Then 600. Then data pending. You stop writing down the numbers. They mean nothing. The only number that matters now is what you have in this house, and how many days it buys you, and whether days are even the right unit anymore. You don't know yet. But you stop waiting for someone to tell you. 1 week. You see it from the kitchen window first. The tomatoes you planted in April, 6 plants, staked with bamboo, worth 3 months of work, are on the ground. All of them. Collapsed flat, stems bent at wrong angles, every leaf threaded with black veins like ink spreading through wet paper. The squash beside them has gone gray and papery, crumbling at the edges. The soil between them shines. A strange iridescent purple, almost pretty, where the spore colonies have bloomed overnight along the cracks. You stand there for a full minute. You don't go outside. The news, what's left of it, confirms it at 6 a.m. The jet stream carried the spores across the Atlantic in under 5 days. Black vein necrosis shows up within 48 hours of contact. Fields in France, Germany, Ohio, Iowa, gray mats of collapsed stalks, millions of acres, all of it done. The ambient spore count in affected zones? 4,200 CFU per cubic meter of outdoor air. The reporter says that number like it should mean something to you. It means, don't go outside without the N95. It means, your garden is gone. It means, every garden is gone. The sky above the neighborhood is pale yellowish-white now. Not cloudy. Something else. Something that doesn't move the way clouds move. Faint drifting motes catch the morning light like slow snow that never lands. You tape the window shut with duct tape anyway. By Tuesday, the block has changed. Mrs. Okafor from number 14 has barricaded her front porch with patio furniture and 2 car tires. A fire pit made of a cut oil drum burns in the cul-de-sac. 3 people standing around it in layered coats, unwashed, not talking. Trash bags pile at the curb because no truck has come in 4 days. Someone spray-painted "water" on the sidewalk in red. Nobody answered. Then Dave knocks. Dave from next door. Dave who lent you his ladder in October. He's standing at your back fence, at the padlocked gate, looking at your yard. He looks at the iridescent purple soil. He looks at your kitchen window and he knows you're there. He has 2 kids, you know this, 7 and 9. He asks for cans. Not all of them. Some. Anything. You have 600 grams of pasta. 1 can of beans. Oats for maybe 9 days if you're careful. Peanut butter going fast. That's it. That is everything between you and nothing. You tell him no. You say it quietly. You close the blinds. He doesn't knock again. He doesn't say anything. He just goes. And you stand in your kitchen with your hands flat on the counter, and you don't move for a long time. And you don't look at the window. Not anymore. The padlock is yours. The no entry sign, cardboard, black marker, 3 minutes to make. goes on the gate that afternoon. You don't feel good about it. You don't feel bad enough to take it down. That's the part that scares you most. 1 month. You trade the apartment on a Thursday. No paperwork. No keys handed over. You hand the man in a yellow rain slicker the deed, printed, signed, meaningless now, and he hands you a seat in a Ford Transit van heading north to the University Egg campus. You fit everything you own into a 45-liter pack. You leave the couch. You leave the blinds. You leave the padlock on the gate because nobody is coming back for any of it. The van holds 9 people. Nobody talks for the first 40 minutes. Then someone cries quietly in the back row, and nobody talks after that either. The campus looks wrong from the road. The lawns are the color of wet ash, flat and dead all the way to the tree line. The trees themselves stand bare and charcoal gray against a sky so wide it hurts to look at. No movement, no birds, just the greenhouse wing rising at the far end of the quad. A long glass and steel structure, its panels now half covered in duct-taped plastic sheeting, and planks nailed diagonally across the frames. It's the only thing that still looks like it's trying. You get out of the van. You put your N95 on. You walk. The airlock is a janitor's closet, wedged between 2 shower curtains stapled to a plywood frame. You step inside. Someone in a dust-stained Carhartt jacket closes the outer curtain behind you. A HEPA filter unit, a big Honeywell commercial model, the kind that used to sit in hospital corridors, runs in the corner, pulling air. Rated 99.97% for particles above 0.3 microns. You stand there for 90 seconds. You know the number. You counted it yourself 3 times before you ever volunteered for door rotation. You strip your outer layer, you bag it, you step through. Inside, grow lights hang in rows from the steel frame on orange extension cords, humming. Under them, soil trays, 200 or more, set on folding tables salvaged from the student union. Green seedlings push up from dark soil, spinach, kale, a few rows of something you don't recognize yet. The only living green you've seen in 11 days. You stop. You just look at it for a second. 34 people now. That's the population of this place. Someone chalked it on the whiteboard by the main door. 34. They update it when they have to. You learn the jobs fast. You learn which seedling trays need the 14-hour light cycle. You learn that the east side HEPA unit clocks every 6 days and needs a new pre-filter cut from surgical mask material. You learn that a man who ran a landscaping company in his previous life knows more about nitrogen deficiency than anyone with a PhD here. And you start following him in the mornings and writing down what he says in a spiral notebook with 60 pages left. You don't think about Dave's kids. You don't let yourself. The group sets rules on day 3. Airlock protocol, mandatory. Ration weight, 900 grams of food per person per day. Anyone who breaks seal gets quarantined in the storage annex for 48 hours. No exceptions. A woman who used to manage a restaurant supply chain runs the rationing. She has a kitchen scale, and she is not unkind, but she is not flexible either. You respect that immediately. On day 9, someone tries to rush the airlock. 3 people from outside, thin and loud, pressing at the plywood frame. You are the one who holds the inner curtain shut. You hold it with both hands for 4 minutes until they stop. You don't shake afterwards. You note that. You file it away. You move on. At night, under the hum of the grow lights, the seedlings throw tiny shadows across the trays. The white sky presses against the taped glass. Somewhere out there, the campus is silent and gray and still. In here, 34 people breathing, water dripping from a condensation pipe into a bucket, someone turning a page. You count the trays before you sleep. It's not your job. You do it anyway. 6 months. You don't count trays anymore. You count calories. 900 grams was the rule at the campus. Here, in the old agricultural college, 14 kilometers north, the number is 740. You set it yourself. You did the math 3 times. You set it anyway. The building used to train agronomists. Now the lecture hall holds 31 people, their sleeping mats arranged in rows on the tiered floor. The chalkboard at the front still shows a diagram of crop rotation from a class that ran in February. Nobody has erased it. You use the margins to log daily yields in grams. The walls are covered in hand-drawn maps. Colored pins mark 7 verified grow sites within a 300-kilometer radius. Green pins, clean. Red pins, contaminated. Yellow pins, unknown. Approach with caution. You drew every one of those maps yourself, traced from road atlases you pulled from 3 different gas stations. Your handwriting has gotten very small. You run out of space fast. The UV lamps hang from the ceiling on salvaged hooks, 4 units running at 365 nanometers, the wavelength where the spore fluorescence shows. You found the spec in a mycology textbook on the 3rd floor. You tested it on a contaminated tray pulled from outside. The infected seeds lit up green-yellow, sickly and bright, like something radioactive in a cartoon. The clean seeds stayed dark. You stared at that for a long time. Now you run every seed batch through the protocol before it touches soil. Dust mask on, goggles on, tray under the light. You hold it steady for 45 seconds. You look for glow. If you see glow, the batch burns. No appeal, no second opinion. You wear a patchwork jacket with a hand-stitched seedling on the chest. Someone sewed it on 2 months ago as a joke that stopped being a joke. The emblem means you run the board. People wait in line for your check. 7 compounds have adopted the protocol now. They send runners, or they get through on a Baofeng UV5R on the 146 MHz frequency you all agreed on. They trade fuel and dried food for the knowledge. Last week, a group 80 kilometers east sent 4 liters of diesel and a case of canned beans for a written copy of the authentication steps. You wrote it out in half an hour. You know it cold. You learn things you couldn't have imagined knowing. You learn that spore contamination rates drop 40% in seeds stored below 8 degrees Celsius. You learn that a UV lamp loses intensity after roughly 9,000 hours and needs replacement before accuracy drifts. You learn which runners lie about their compound's contamination levels to keep trading rights. You learn how to tell. Last Tuesday, a man arrived from a group 60 kilometers south. He had a seed pouch. He said it was clean. You put it under the light. It glowed. He argued. You burned the batch. He kept arguing. You walked away. Not angry, not sorry, just done. At night you dream about your mother's kitchen table. Bread, butter, a bowl of fruit you didn't bother to finish. You wake up at 5 a.m. in the dark lecture hall and your first thought, before your name, before the date, is the yield count from tray 7, which was 12 grams light yesterday and needs checking. You don't remember the last time you ate without calculating. You're not sure that version of you exists anymore. You don't mourn it. You just note it the way you note everything now. Write it down, file it away, move on. The violet light from the UV lamps spills across the seed trays all night. Clean seeds stay dark. You trust the dark. 1 year. The first shot comes at 3 a.m. You're on watch rotation. You hear the crack and your body moves before your mind does. You're off the cot, boots on, out the door in maybe 4 seconds. Not fast enough. The greenhouse is already burning. The glass panels shatter inward, one after another, orange flame rushing up the steel frame like something alive. Smoke pours white and thick into the February air, lit from inside by the fire. You can see it from 200 meters, the whole south wing collapsing, the UV rigs falling, the tray tables buckling. 8 months of verified grow stock. Gone in the first 3 minutes. Someone shouts.
17 of them come in from the east fence line, the harvesters. The group that sent the runner 2 weeks ago with the glowing badge and the hard questions about your protocol. You didn't see it then. You do now. They move fast and they move organized. You make it back to the storage room. 30 seconds. You pull the titanium canister from the lower shelf. 2.1 kilograms, cold to the touch, sealed at 4 degrees Celsius, rated for a 20-year hermetic hold. You have rehearsed this. Your hands don't shake. You strap it across your chest with the nylon harness you built 2 months ago for exactly this reason, and you go out the north window. 12 people don't make it out. You know 3 of their names well. The woman who built the second UV rig from salvaged parts. The teenager who kept the yield logs in neat columns you couldn't match. The man who sewed the seedling on your jacket. Not anymore. You run across the field behind the building. The ground is cracked gray earth. Not one green thing in any direction for as far as you can see. Nothing grows out here. That was always the point of insight. Behind you, the greenhouse skeleton stands black against the sky, orange fire flickering through the steel ribs, smoke rising in thin white threads into the gray. You don't look back more than once. 22 of you regroup in the tree line 600 meters north. Head count takes 6 minutes. You do it twice. 34 people yesterday, 22 now. The canister is still cold against your chest. 847 seed varieties. Every authenticated batch. The only verified clean stock you know exists within 400 kilometers in any direction. Someone asks what you do now. They're looking at you. All 22 of them are looking at you. You don't answer right away. You look at the canister. You look at the burning building. You look at the cracked field. Here is what you know. The harvesters have the greenhouse. They have the UV rigs, or the burned wreckage of them. They have the Baofeng radio. They don't have the protocol written down anywhere they can read it. And they don't have the canister. You do. You make a decision in about 10 seconds. You keep moving north. You don't go back. You find a new place. You rebuild the protocol from memory, because it's all in your head now. Every step, every number, every threshold. That's where it has to live. You start walking. The others follow. The canister is cold. The seeds are dark inside it. You trust the dark. 2 years. The tunnel is 340 meters long and 11 meters wide. You chose it because it has 2 exits, a constant internal temperature of 9 degrees Celsius, and no windows. Battery lanterns sit on 6 folding tables arranged in a horseshoe. The light doesn't reach the walls past the first 40 meters. Beyond that, the concrete recedes into black. Fabric banners hang from wires strung across the ceiling. 1 for each compound, each painted with a seedling variant in a different color. 11 banners, 11 circles of people, all compressed tonight into 11 chairs around 1 table. The titanium canister sits on a wooden plinth at the center, wrapped in welded wire mesh, bolted to the plinth base. Nobody touches it. Nobody sits closer than 30 centimeters. That's not a rule you wrote down. It just happened. You stand at the head of the circle. You are 31 years old. You weigh 61 kilograms. You sleep 5 hours a night. The germline compact runs to 14 pages, handwritten on the backs of highway survey maps. 11 signatures at the bottom, including yours. It took 4 meetings across 90 days to get there. The key number is 6. 6 seed units. 1 unit being 200 authenticated seeds of a verified clean variety is the minimum trait threshold between signatory compounds. Below 6, no exchange happens. That number killed 2 draft versions of the charter before it held. You know what a seed unit took to produce. You don't explain it to people who weren't there. The compact sets grow protocol in fixed steps. 14-day germination observation, mandatory UV verification at 72 hours, yield logging every 3rd day in a standard column format that all 11 compounds now use. You wrote the column format yourself on a Tuesday in about 20 minutes. You borrowed the column spacing from the teenagers' yield logs, the ones you couldn't match. You learn that authority isn't loud. You learn it moves through procedure. You learn that 11 people in a cold tunnel will argue for 3 hours about a 48-hour window on germination observation, and that you need to let them. Then you close it. The council convenes every 90 days. Rotation is fixed. The host compound changes each cycle. But the tunnel is always neutral ground. Nobody arrives armed past the first checkpoint, 80 meters south of the entrance, where 2 people from a non-attending compound run security. That detail took 1 full day to negotiate. It was the right fight to have. 3 people are not here tonight. 3 people who were here 18 months ago and are not welcome back. 1 crossed germination protocol and replanted a suspect batch inside a shared bed without disclosure. 1 traded unverified stock outside the compact for fuel cells. 1 moved a canister without logging it. All 3 are alive, somewhere. You know where 2 of them are, approximately. You do not lose sleep. That surprised you at first. The person to your left asks for a ruling on the new compound, 40 people, 90 kilometers east, requesting provisional signatory status. They have land. They have hands. They have no verified clean stock and no UV rig, but they have a south-facing slope that gets 6 hours of direct light from late March onward. That slope is worth 4 seasons, maybe more. You look at the 11 faces in the lantern light. You say, provisional status, 180-day trial, 1 observer from a standing compound on site at all times, no trade rights until first verified yield. Nobody argues. The vote takes 40 seconds. Outside, the compound's cleared zones stretch in half-kilometer rings. Stripped earth close in, shallow beds further out. Signal flags on wire posts marking each monitored row. It looks nothing like a farm from before. It looks like something new. It is. You pick up the canister when the meeting closes. 2.1 kilograms. Still cold. Still yours to carry. You walk out the north exit into the dark. The air smells like turned soil and diesel and something faintly alive. You look up. No clouds. More stars than you used to see. You keep walking. 5 years. The banner went up at 0600. Someone climbed a scaffold made from welded rebar and hung it across the factory gates. Rootstock Republic. Blocky white letters on black canvas, 3 meters wide. You watched from 40 meters back. You didn't help hang it. You just watched. The gates are welded steel now, painted with a green seedling on a black field. The seedling was the teenager's idea. Someone else painted it. You approved it in 30 seconds and moved on. That's how most things happen now. Inside, through the polycarbonate panels bolted over the broken windows, the hydroponic towers glow green. 12 towers per corridor, 4 corridors, 2.2 meters of grow space per tier. The light is visible from outside at night. People walk past just to see it. You know because the perimeter log shows foot traffic at 200, 300, sometimes 400. People who can't sleep, coming to stand in the green light and look at something growing. The sky above the factory is pale blue, almost natural. The spore cloud has thinned. Not gone, thinned. You note the distinction every time someone doesn't. The Rootstock Republic formalizes at 1100 in the main corridor, in front of 200 people standing between the hydroponic towers. You read the founding terms aloud. 31 settlements, 600 kilometers of corridor north to south. Agriculture as the Constitution's first article. Not defense, not governance. Seeds first. Everything else follows from seeds. It took 6 drafts to get that order right. You fought for it every time. You sign your name under the title Chief Seed Keeper. The pen is a big ballpoint, blue ink, nearly dry. It skips twice. Your signature looks nothing like it did 5 years ago. You don't think about that. You sign and move on.
By 1400, the harvest numbers are confirmed. 14 metric tons of verified clean grain from the sealed hydroponic corridors. Every batch UV verified. Every yield log cross-checked against 3 independent columns. The number is real. You've checked it yourself twice, at 0430 when the corridors were empty. You needed to be alone with it. 14 metric tons is not enough to feed 31 settlements for a year. You know that. The council knows that. Nobody says it today. Outside the gates, the settlement fills every open space. Wooden structures, canvas lean-tos, cooking fires sending thin smoke into the pale sky. Animal-drawn carts move between stalls. Someone is selling repaired boots. Someone else is teaching 3 children to read from a laminated chart nailed to a plank wall. The market runs on seed units, fuel cells, and labor hours. It has its own logic now. You didn't design all of it. You designed the part that held, and the rest grew around it. You learn that a republic is not declared. You learn it is built in column formats and germination windows and 40-second votes. You learn that 14 metric tons of grain can make 200 people cry without a single word being said. A woman near the gate is holding a piece of bread. Just holding it, not eating, looking at it. You turn away. Someone asks if you want to speak at the festival fire tonight. You say yes. You have 11 words prepared. You wrote them this morning in a yield log margin. You try to remember what Tuesday used to feel like. A kitchen, a table, mail in your hands. The shape of it is gone. You reach for it and find nothing. Just a stranger in a quiet room. Somebody who existed before seeds meant everything. Before you learned to carry cold canisters in the dark. That person is not coming back. You stopped waiting. The festival fire is lit at dusk. 300 people now from 6 nearby settlements standing in the mud outside the factory walls. The green glow pulses through the polycarbonate panels behind them. The seedling on the gate catches the firelight. You stand at the front. You say your 11 words. We kept the line. Now we grow forward. Don't forget the cost. Nobody speaks for a long moment. Then someone starts to clap. Then more. Then all of them. You hold the 2.1 kilogram canister at your side. Still cold. Still yours. You let them have the moment. You watch the fire. You count the faces. You start planning spring planting in your head because someone has to. And that is what you are now. That is all you are. It's enough. 10 years. The ambient spore count in the certified clean zone reads 12 CFU per cubic meter. You check the monitor yourself at 0600, the way you check everything yourself twice before you let anyone else believe it. 12. The threshold for open-air planting is 15. You've been watching this number fall for 3 years. Today it means something it has never meant before. The field is 2 hectares. Brown earth, tilled last week by hand and by 2 ox-drawn plows, borrowed from the northern settlement. The soil is real. Open sky above it. No polycarbonate. No UV filters. No sealed corridor walls. Just ground and light and the smell of turned earth, which is a smell you had forgotten, and which now sits in your chest like something physical. You stand at the field's edge in your heavy coat. The seedling emblem on the chest is faded to almost nothing, a ghost of stitching. The titanium canister rides on your back now, strapped like a rucksack, because you stopped carrying it in your hands sometime around year 6. It weighs 2.1 kilograms. You don't feel it anymore. That's how you know how long it's been. There are 31 children in the rows, some from the settlement. Some walked 4 kilometers this morning with adults you don't recognize. The youngest is maybe 5. She has never seen a garden that wasn't under glass. None of them have. They kneel in the furrows in patched coats and repaired boots, and they press seeds into the soil with their bare hands, because someone told them to press gently, 1 centimeter deep. And they are doing it with the kind of focus children bring to things that feel important without knowing why. You watch one boy look up at the open sky. Just look. His mouth is open a little. He's not scared. He's calculating something. You can see it. He's learning that the sky is big. Nobody warned him. In the far distance, the city skyline is still broken. Collapsed towers half swallowed by dead gray vines, and now, at the base of one fallen wall, a single green vine climbing through the ruin. Something wild, something that didn't ask permission. You see it. You note it. You don't write it down. You think about a Tuesday, a kitchen table, mail sorted into piles, a news sticker you weren't really watching. That person sorted mail and thought about lunch. That person existed on a planet that no longer exists. You reach back for the feeling of it, the ordinary weight of an ordinary morning, and find only the weight of the canister, the smell of the soil. 31 children pressing seeds into the first certified clean earth in a decade. You don't grieve it. Not today. A girl near the end of the row holds up her seed before she plants it. Just holds it between 2 fingers and looks at it. Small, brown, unremarkable. You know what it is. You know what it cost. She presses it in, pats the soil flat with her palm, moves to the next hole. The afternoon light falls long and gold across 3.2 hectares of open ground. The first pale green shoots from last week's test rows catch it at the far end of the field. They are small. They are real. An artist could paint this. The broken skyline, the children in rows, the old figure at the edge with the canister on their back. And 100 years from now, someone would look at that painting and call it the beginning. You don't call it anything. You pull out your yield log. You start writing down the seed counts by row. Someone has to. You are still that someone. That is still enough. Across an ocean, a girl sits at her bedroom desk on a Tuesday afternoon, pressing wildflower seeds into a silver locket with trembling fingers. She hums softly, imagining her grandmother's joy at receiving such a delicate gift. The flowers are beautiful, perfectly formed, impossibly vibrant. On her nightstand, the news plays mutely. A scientist in Norway discusses containment protocols with a furrowed brow. She does not look up. The locket closes with a small, final click. And somewhere, another mailbox waits to be opened. The cycle continues.